No. That's not right. Let's try that again. Oh, how embarrassing. I guess I'll just have to do this myself. "55 years ago came the birth of the eighth wonder of the world. Surrounded by a canopy of lush foliage and an abundant supply of unfiltered H2O, Miracle Camp and Retreat Center welcomes thousands of human creatures every year. Migration to these grounds every summer brings along some of the world's most fascinating beings. Now, before inspecting the land mammals, we'll grace our eyes upon some of the finest aquatic specimens in the ocean. These guardians of life have a unique ability to camouflage themselves perfectly with their surroundings. That is, if they were surrounded by a bowl of fruit. Attached to their torso, each one of these characters is supported by a scarlet cylinder, which helps to provide buoyancy to these dense mammals. Amphibious in nature, these aquatic heroes leave the comfort of the maritime residence in order to attempt flight. After a brief yet valiant attempt to achieve the impossible, they must return to their nautical habitat to keep watch over those who visit their neighborhood. Here, in what is commonly mistaken as the Australian outback, we find some of the most extraordinary fellows in existence. These majestic aerial acrobats defy the laws of physics as they smoothly and comfortably glide through the air like a blazing hot knife through some sweet, creamy, unsalted butter. Contrary to what you might expect, these outdoor adventurers keep their cool amidst the most challenging situations. Their binocular vision makes them experts in the fields of the bow and of the arrow. These bullseye buckos are ready for any challenge that comes their way. The might and intelligence of these brutes has allowed them to occupy and protect over 40 acres of thick, deciduous terrain for decades, proving to everyone else that they truly are the kings of the jungle. As we journey deeper into the mystery that is the summer staff of Miracle Camp and Retreat Center, we come alongside a tidy group of fully grown bebes. These hospitable characters spend every day cleaning what has just been cleaned the day before. Like a lactose-intolerant cheesemaker, no one can totally understand why they do what they do. But boy, oh boy, do they do. They wash, shampoo, and rinse every square inch of every orifice in the region. While performing this extreme cleanse, they use only the most organic tools of nature. The hardest tasks require the highest quality materials, so these creatures go to great lengths to acquire the instruments with which they will perform their mind-boggling occupations. Although the majority of the Pride travel together around Miracle Camp, there are a plethora of individuals that tend to work apart from the Pride. They perform a menagerie of tasks that sustain the ecosystem from within. Without these vital members, life as we know it would be extinct. Our first subject is of the genus and species Homo sapien. They spend the majority of their time protecting some of the world's finest delicacies native to the area. Creatures from all over the world journey to fill themselves full of these mouth-watering yet highly unrewarding calories. What makes their tummies rumble the most comes in the form of 2 circles of breaded chocolate chips at the bookends of a rock-hard block of frozen custard. After satisfying their cravings, they tend to take some more of these treats for the road, usually to be consumed right before bed to the dismay of the alpha of their pride. Next, we explore one of the more creative beings in the universe. This inspiring living soul allocates its days to circle punches, Elmer's glue, and googly eyes. The work of this being's hands is truly breathtaking and astonishing. Residing in a sub-tyrannical shack, away from the hustle and bustle of the rest of the habitat, this crafty lass is content to construct a humble abode for smaller inhabitants using only pipe cleaners and a quarter ream of paper. This next contributor to society is one that will never be totally understood. Like the Hubble telescope searching for a distant star, these creatures roam the grounds looking for moments to savor for a lifetime. In the event that they aren't in the proper place to capture greatness, they will maneuver themselves into any position necessary to get the job done, risking life and limb for the sake of a few thousand pixels. The final solo traveler we find in the land is one of unique gifting. Sort of like the symbiotic relationship between African oxpeckers and humongous giraffes, this beast makes a living by fixing things that other members of society have managed to neglect. Using impact drivers and Allen wrenches, this unpolished comrade keeps the area in tip-top shape until it is inevitably ruined again by other ruckus-causing constituents living in the ecosystem. Directly above all of the aforementioned beings in the food chain come the highly respected creatures known only as Cabinolidres. These quadrupeds tend to travel in groups of between 2 and 4 and perform some of the greatest feats that the eye has ever seen. By contorting their bodies in the most unusual of ways, some are able to propel a single piece of polypropylene polymer half the width of the Sahara. Others can catapult a ball of alligator skin faster than the speed of a voracious cheetah. While many test the laws of physics with their mind-blowing athleticism, others tend to be more docile in nature. They know their abilities, but tend to spend their days in the grazing field mingling about. At the end of a long day, every group heads back to their specialized dwelling place. Each one is unique, but they all play an essential role in keeping the Lidres near the top of the food chain. The last species are an eccentric group. Although they are relatively restrained and tranquil, the entire ecosystem relies on their contribution in order to flourish. Each has been given the unique ability to lead a faction of the creatures that roam the domain every summer. This group is the final piece in the fragile and complex puzzle that is the summer staff. The Great Wall of China. The Pyramids of Giza. The Roman Colosseum. Miracle Camp and Retreat Center. All are ancient spectacles that have stood the test of time and remain standing before us today. Each welcomes a deluge of visitors every year, but only one has oaks standing taller than Everest. Only one has a lake slowly lurking towards its core. Only one houses creatures uniquely gifted enough to come back every summer and maintain this ecosystem, creating what many regard to be the greatest place on Earth.